get a small victory lap, and I will implore you to contain yourself. Tell us about
uh,
once.com.
once.com. RIP? RIP once.com?
RIP once.com.
Yeah, I guess the DHH and his crew have open source Campfire, which we
Hmm.
did a whole big episode on this and multiple episodes that people can go back and listen to. But basically, the premise was that, I mean, my biggest issue was never that they did this. They wanted to sell Campfire as a one off product. Fine, great. I literally couldn't care less. But there was a lot of marketing puffery, right? A lot of boistering about how IT departments, they don't want to use hosted tools anymore. They just want to download their own software and run it. They just want to pay one time. They don't want support. They just want to have full ownership of the code and do what they want. This was the whole premise. And then people bought it in the beginning. I presume to see DHH's code, which nobody's ever been able to see, DHH kind of production code. And it appears nobody ever bought it after that because they've just open sourced
It
it.
does appear that way.
uh, which is what it should have been to begin with. Because if you want to have the Slack competitor, it's only going to work if it has some kind of community. Nobody wants to buy a thing that you are stating is unsupported. Like, it's just, there's
Correct.
no use case for this.
Yep.
So at least if it's open source, maybe a community builds around it and you start to get some traction and maintainers and there's releases. And if there's a problem, at least there's some place I can go to and say, hey, I have this problem. Even if
Hmm.
it's people who just, well, don't have to fix it, but at least there's a place I can go complain about it. And that all makes more sense to me. Do it as open source. I like it. Great. I still don't think anybody's going to use it, but if there's any hope of it being something, I think this is the right path. So good on them to throw in the towel. They did not remove all the marketing puffery from the once.com homepage, which says IT departments uh, hate SaaS and don't want to use it anymore. But whatever, maybe we'll get to it.
Maybe we'll get there. They probably got a lot going on. I will
They
say
probably have other stuff.
this this seems like a swing and a miss. Like they and here's my take on it. I'm
Mm.
fine. I'm fine with that. I'm totally
Yeah,
fine with that. They put out this big manifesto as they are wont to do.
they have a
And it
manifesto.
happens that like the market did not support the thesis, and that's fine. I don't think personally, I don't think the manifesto is overwrought in any way. I think they're like staking out this is what we believe in and we're trying to convince you, and it didn't work. And that's okay to me. Like
Know about that.
it's okay to me that they tried to convince people of a thing with like strong strong pros and then they were super
Yes.
wrong about it. I'm actually okay with that. I'm totally fine with that
Yeah,
actually.
I'm of
Especially
two
since they
minds,
walked
I
it
guess.
back, you know,
Yeah.
especially since they were
Well,
like, "Hey, it didn't work. It's open source."
they never really do anything quite like that. I wouldn't say that they came out and said this was a failure. We swung and missed. It was a little more, hey, it's open source now. Great. Like, we're not going to dwell on the past here, or anything like that. Yeah, I mean, I think it is overwrought because it was very clear to anybody who works with IT managers that what they're saying was like literal gibberish and was
See, I don't see the
not
IT
based in
manager thing
reality.
in here at all. I just
Yeah,
see them
it's right
talking
there.
about you used to own stuff and now you don't. Where's the IT?
Oh,
Oh,
wait a minute.
plus IT departments are hungry to run their own IT
Yes.
again. Okay, yeah.
Right. So that's just all wrong, right? And so
Yeah, that
like,
part is wrong.
and it's just like not
There
even
are
like
no
I'm
IT
not.
departments
This is
anymore.
right. This is not even me. Like out on a limb here. Like I literally hear all the time. I mean, when the day they announced this, you and me were in a Telegram chat. Like I did a demo for a potential customer the day they announced this open source, and the
Yeah.
guy's like, another person on the call was like, "Are we going to host this ourselves or no?" And the IT manager literally says, "It's 2025. We're not hosting this ourselves, right?" So like, nobody's in the we want to host our own software outside of very, very particular use cases, which do exist, but that's not the standard. That's the non-standard at this point. So anyway, it's fine. So my two minds of it are: one, it's very clear if you know anything about the stuff that they're totally wrong. But on the flip side, I'm of the mind of like, this is great marketing, right? Like, who
Yes.
cares about the truth? Who cares about reality, right? I'm going to go all in with a big stance on something. And if it works, then I'll be a genius and it'll be great. And nobody's even going to remember that I was, you know, obviously lying about certain parts of it. And I'll be richer and famous and great. So that's the other part. That's the part. I don't know if I can go all the way to full on deceit, but I do want to take some parts of this and use it myself for getting out there more
Yeah,
and
see what
being more
you're painting
boisterous.
as deceit, I'm painting as being wrong. I think they were just
Yeah,
wrong. I don't
well,
think
but I
it was like
mean,
a I don't think it was I don't think there's a moral component to it.
oh, I don't know. If you say something you know is incorrect, I don't know.
And that's what I'm not ascribing.
Okay,
I agree. If you say something you know is incorrect, that is called a lie.
right.
That part I agree with. I'm not ascribing to them foreknowledge that they knew that IT departments weren't hungry to run their own IT. They may be having with their
But that's
cloud
what they're
exit
saying. They're
conversation.
stating it as truth,
Right. And what I'm saying is they may be having those conversations based on their
but they're
cloud
not.
exit. Well, let me finish. They may be
Okay.
having those conversations
Uh-huh.
based on their cloud exit stance. They may be having IT departments coming to them and saying, "Hey, we want to do this too. We're hungry to do this." And because you're
Okay.
offering SaaS, you may be having
Mm,
IT departments say, "We don't want to do this. We want your
right.
SaaS." And so they
Yeah.
may be receiving different signals than you are, and they're just saying, "Oh, we're having all these conversations. IT departments are hungry to do this." And you're saying, "Ah, I'm having these. They're not."
Mm,
And so they may be wrong about like
mm,
the broader market, but I don't think
right.
it's malicious.
Yeah, I mean, malicious, I guess, is probably strong. Is it malicious? I don't know. Is it yeah, I don't know. It's the kind of thing that like any market research at all would clear up, right? So like there's clearly no market research. Now, I guess if you want to say is that malicious or not, I don't know. But they could literally go anywhere, any IT publication, anywhere. Like you're not going to find me the chart that's like the adoption of SaaS and cloud is slowing and people are buying way more on-premise servers. Like it's not a thing.
Yeah, no, I
I
don't
don't
believe
know.
they did any market research. I believe it's
Right, yeah.
all
But so I guess
anecdata,
like
and they're getting a
the
lot of input that's like,
did
"Hey, we wanna
not
do what you did."
what is it? What's the whole thing with the law? Like ignorance of the law, right, does not preclude you from it and all that stuff. Which obviously doesn't
Oh,
apply to
sounds
marketing.
it could have been pithy if we had landed it, yeah.
Yeah, it could have been. It could have been. No, my brain's not. I haven't been getting as good a rest as I was a couple weeks ago, where I was
You
getting
were
the phrasing
firing,
and the
yeah.
words. Yeah. So I don't know. It's fine. I mean, whatever. I want to take from this to like put yourself out there more, take a big stand. I like that part.
Yes.
And that's fine. I mean, I think the thing that's kind of funny is like they have had like tons and tons of misses, which is also like a thing I think it cuts both ways. Like nobody ever ascribes any of their misses to them, which I always find hysterical. And when there've been like 90% misses, but I do like that they've taken lots of shots, right? Like they've taken tons of
That's the
shots.
lesson, and
Right.
that's true of everyone. Nobody ascribes the
Yeah.
loss like the misses.
I think
Like
they're standard bootstrappers though, in that their first thing was their hit. And
yeah.
they've never come close to that ever again. Like they still run Hey at least on like everything else they've ever done. So okay, like presumably Hey
I think
does
Hay is a hit. I think Hay
okay,
makes a lot of
it's like
money. Yeah.
it's not worth shutting down level, so
No, I think it
it's
makes a lot
worth
of money.
running. But I think it's tiny compared to Basecamp.
Got it,
So
because just because Basecamp's enormous.
right,
Yeah.
exactly, right. So I think, that's fine, but it's just like they still haven't crossed over to that next level of entrepreneur, which is extremely rare, which is I built 2 things that were big, right? Even big
I don't
relative to your own
know.
scare to your own scale.
I
Forget
think
about
s
big $1 billion.
I think Hay compared to anything else is big. It's just being compared to Basecamp is small.
Look,
I think
but
Hay
that's the
makes
whole
many
thing.
millions of dollars.
Sure. That's exactly my point. Like, relative to themselves, it's nothing. They could lose Hey tomorrow, they wouldn't even know. They wouldn't change anything about their lifestyle or how many employees they have or anything.
That's
It
probably
wouldn't
true,
matter.
yeah.
Yeah, so that to me is like, it's not moving the needle would be my guess. 'Cause it's like $99 a year or whatever. Even if they have a bunch of users, it's nowhere near Basecamp, which they have a bunch of people paying them $300 a month or whatever it is, right? Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I think it's fine,
Mm,
and I think they like the money, and it's more money, and they like working on it, and they like having their own email client 'cause they don't like other email clients, and that's all great. But I don't think it's anywhere close to Basecamp. So just even relative to themselves, I don't think they've again, it's extremely rare. This is not a negative on them. This is like there's a handful of people ever who have done one thing and then sold it or kept running it and then done a second thing which approaches the first thing. Like it's pretty rare.
yeah, it is pretty rare. I still
Yeah.
think it's impressive. I think they've
Yeah,
got 2 products that make a ton of money, one that makes the lion's share of it. Um,
it is.
I'm still impressed. I still like them.